This is A-Game, fast-acting, long-lasting, with no side effects.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what we're talking about today is I'm going to show you a clip. I'm going to show you a clip of Steve Harvey. You know, this is why Lori Harvey act like she do. This is why he's married to Marjorie. Okay? He actually believed the crap that he says on TV because the women in his life and that's under his jurisdiction are hyenas. And he promote hyena behavior. We're going to watch him do it like we watch him do it so many times. If you are aware of his show at all, about 2 minutes long, I just want you to listen to it, and then we're going to come back and cook. All right. Here we go. Listen to the advice he gives this young lady. I really need y'all to really understand the type of advice he just gave this young lady. It was so dismissive and wrong. It was just wrong all the way up and down. It was stupid and it was wrong. Like, okay, let me just show it to you. Okay, let me stop sharing this and let me come back to you guys. Okay, so we heard the drivel, right? Several points. Let's deal with the obvious thing that's going on. The obvious thing that's going on was his entire answer. This young lady gets up and says first of all, she calls this a roommate. She's been knowing him for a year, with him for a year, got serious in the last 2 months, roommate. This relationship is leisure to her. Let's just get that together. This relationship is leisure to her. This is not serious. She's never had anybody to roommate with. She said even in college, she was in a single dorm. So she's had zero experience about the give and take or what it takes to actually be in the same living space with somebody that's not your mama, your daddy, you know what I'm saying, your brothers and sisters or whatever as you grew up, but actually becoming an adult or getting into your adulthood and having to share space with other people, getting, you know what I'm saying, knowing their habits, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, and working around them or talking through things when it's something going on with that person in the living space where it's like, okay, we're not going to be able to do this. You know, we're going to have a conversation about what the boundaries are and what are we doing, you know, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable so that both of us can be comfortable in this living space. She doesn't have that experience. So this is leisure. All she's thinking about is, you know, I get to have in-house D. I get to have in-house, you know what I'm saying? I get to bust it wide open. I ain't got to try to go to his place and all of that type of stuff. You know, she's probably fresh out of school. She not making that much money. She probably need a roommate. She called him a roommate, not a fiance, not my man. You know, me and you know, my man have gotten serious. We're gonna move together. Not even that. My roommate. She can cut this off at any time. This is leisure. This is not a real relationship. This is not something that she's looking to move into an area of. This is her family. Right. So he gave her advice about stay independent, stay by yourself. And then he began to go down a list of demonizing a man's maleness. Now, this man that we talking about is nameless. He's faceless. He's likely a black man. Okay. And his maleness was generalized and then demonized, right? And then he ends it off with a list of things that's supposed to be unsavory about men being in the house, or a woman living with a man, and now she's got all of these different dissatisfactory things that she's got to deal with, all tied to his maleness, right? And his propensity to be a dude in the house, as if she doesn't have anything to do. She's going to be probably perfect, and he's going to be the one with the problem. And after that, all of that, he says, we hate him, don't we? Now, this is a statement that he would not have been able to say, even in jest, if it was in reference to a woman, even a nameless, faceless woman. If he had been talking to a man, and first of all, he wouldn't have been able to demonize womanness. And then he certainly would not have been able to, as a joke or not, say, we hate her, don't we? No, he would have been canceled for that. But there are several other things going on as well. Okay? This woman, okay. He's saying that this man has to audition for being a husband. He can't get the milk without buying a cow and all that silly stuff. First of all, he getting all the milk in the world. She can't wait to get him milk. She been busting it open. Let's not play like this is some type of virgin and she ain't doing nothing and she's pure and they're gonna move in together. Man, come on now. Her throat sore every weekend. She bow-legged every weekend. Stop it. The moving in just make it more convenient. That's the only thing. So he getting plenty of milk and ain't bought nan cow. Okay? So let's just get that out of the way. The other thing is, she's on a TV show getting attention, asking a question to a man that she should be asking this question to who? Her father. Where is her father? Where is her dad in this situation? What does he think about this guy that she's with? Has she even brought this guy to her father? Is her father in the picture? He's either not in the picture or he is, and she don't respect his guidance. She doesn't respect what he thinks and what he says and his influence on her relationship or how she's behaving or carrying the relationship. Has she even brought this man to her father for vetting? But she go on a national TV show to ask basically a stranger. She don't know Steve Harvey. No more than we know him as a celebrity. That's it. She don't know him personally. He not her mentor. He ain't got no personal relationship rapport with her. Okay? But she rather ask him than to ask her dad, what do you think about this man? What do you think about me moving in with him? What do you think? And get her father's honest opinion and his guidance and then follow it. And then follow through with that. Where is that? Nowhere to be found. What has she seen as examples of women? What's her mother like? What's her aunt like? You know what I'm saying? Where's a grandma? Who are the women in her life that she's supposed to be getting this information from? And this is where we fail. The family structure is either there or being ignored, or it's dysfunctional and can't be relied upon for proper guidance. So this lady's just moving how she thinks she should move or whatever. Here's the thing. She got up to ask the question because she is wondering which path to take. And this is where my show comes in at, because my show is meant to address women like her, young women like her. She's asking, listen, the gynocratic way of doing things has already been presented to her. She already know about the hyena way. She's asking, and I don't even know if she know which question to ask, but she's asking, what she should do. Should she take the gynocratic road, the one she already was reinforced with before, or is there another way she should actually be going about this that she may not be aware of exactly, but she knows that there's got to be another way other than the gynocrat hyena way? And unfortunately, she went to the hyena whisperer, Steve Harvey, who ain't got nothing but hyenas surrounding him. So he gave her reinforced hyena advice. See, he didn't ask her no question about values. What are you to? He asked her no questions. He did not get any information from her that would help him to give her even halfway decent advice. His advice was BS, number one, and it was super dismissive about everything. Okay, so are y'all equally yoked at all? What about your spiritual? Is that like on par? What about, your health? Is that on par? Because she's a pretty young lady. She's a thin young lady, nice and fit, and things of that nature. So what's going on with him? What's going on with your education? Is that on a level that he graduated the same college? Is that how y'all met? Or just ask the general questions. You may not go down the exact 10 life value list, but you're at least touching those things to ask some type of question. These are the questions I would have asked her. Well, tell me something about these areas. Because, baby, if the spiritual value is not together, if the health value is not together, if the family outlook value is not together, if the appearance value outlook not together, if the dwelling, if the mobility, if the education, if the profession, if the leisure, if the wealth, if all of these things are out of whack, or too many things are too far out of whack, this is going to be bad. You might want to rethink this. Where is your father? What does he think about this? What does your mother think about this? What your family think about this? Before you make this move. Before you make this move because y'all just got out of college and you probably need to be roommates for financial reasons. So you can try to live somewhere decent and combine your income, okay? Does she even know what men do at all? Does she even know what to expect from living with a man? Did she live with a father? See, it all goes back to that. Because if she lived with a father, if it wasn't just her and her mama and all that type of stuff, then she got some idea about what men do in the house and what to expect, at least somewhat. Right? So his advice was completely BS, and it was completely dismissive of everything that he was supposed to be talking to her about. And then he gave her the most ridiculous advice of all, is to listen to the bitter, lonely, single women in that audience, because if they wasn't bitter and old and past the wall, they wouldn't even be in Steve Harvey's audience to begin with. That was the wrong crowd. Listen to the hyena clans, hoop and holler, don't move in because these are the mistakes that they made. And they trying to, you see what I'm saying? Lead her down the hyena road. It was not a lioness among them. To let her know this is what you should do in this situation. Okay? This is the best advice to give you. She got reinforced, like so many of our young ladies do, get reinforced with gynocentric ideas, and then they make all of these mistakes, all of the mistakes of the previous generation of women, and then they get bitter, they hit the wall, and the cycle repeats itself. And how many times are we going to do that? Right? So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. This is the advice our young women get. When they don't come to platforms like mine, or they don't know about these platforms, they're going to keep getting reinforced with hyena activities and hyena advice, how to be a hyena. But they already know that. They already got ingrained with that. There's a different way. And nobody tells them that they can be a lioness. They don't have to have dirty back feet. They can have pretty lioness fur. But anyway, speaking of dirty back feet, we have a petition against the hyenas, the worst hyenas of them all, which were the founders of Black Lives Matter organization, Patrisse Cullors and cohorts, who basically stole more than $90 million worth of donated money that was given to the organization to come back to the Black community that they did not do. So we have a petition to hold them accountable. That petition link is in the description box. So please be kind enough to sign it, share it, and contribute to it if possible. Also, sound off in the comment section. What do you think about this? Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.